Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you for tuning in for another very interesting deep dive of an episode. As in this week's show, we're going to be discussing the topic of dangerous liaisons. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through. And then later on in this episode, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which is designed to hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week ahead. So as I say, we're going to be discussing today dangerous liaisons. So what do I mean by that title? Well, I'm talking about dabbling with the dark. I'm talking about lower-based frequencies, lower entities, energies, and all the nasty things that look cool on camera, that look good on photography, that look and sound good on audio captures, but in actual fact, you're doing more harm than good, in my personal experience anyway. So with this being said, as you can imagine that with a lot of dark energy, you get instant gratification. So you get results. You do get quick results. But on the flip side of that, it does come with repercussions, because when you're dabbling in these energies, it can have a dramatic impact on all areas of your life. It can seep into your personal life. It can seep into your work, your career, family life, in all areas. And what I mean by that this energy can infiltrate all areas of your life. It can attach to you in order to create drama and chaos. So it's not very nice. It's not advisable to dabble in these dark energies. There's untold, I would say, misery that can occur by doing that. And obviously, as I say, there's repercussions that potentially could be with you for long periods of time, because a lot of these energies can run in the background, almost like a virus in some respects, and taking your energy and just generally pulling you down in some way, shape or form. So it's something that I wouldn't recommend, something that I wouldn't promote. I am talking about it today because it seems to be quite a popular thing at the moment. It seems to be on trend, some buzzwords around it. And I understand that, yes, it does. There's that morbid curiosity that it does kind of pull you in that respect. But in actual fact, you know, it's nothing really to be glorified as such, not in my experience. So that is why I'm talking about it today, just to make you aware of it. And obviously it is your choice whether you choose to listen or not. But I just felt inspired today to bring this information to you. So with these dangerous liaisons, we're talking about entities, lower vibrational beings, that some have had an experience on the earth plane. Some have never had a physical incarnation in the earth plane. However, what they will do is they will come into our dimension in order to feed. And the way that they do that is via attaching themselves to us. So when we have that curiosity, when we have that desire to connect and get that instant gratification, just be aware that these entities are smarter than you think they are, and they're looking for a way in to attach themselves to you in order for you to be a food source for them. Now, I know that sounds a little bit grim and a little bit out of it, but basically they feed off of lower based vibrations, lower forms of energy. So anything that you can think that would be a lower form of energy, pulling you down, making you feel sad, making you feel sick, causing drama, discord, all of that creates lower base vibrations that these entities are aiming to achieve, so that they can extract sustenance a way of them thriving and surviving in their as a being. That's their intention. So with this being said, it's not a very nice feeling for anybody that's experienced having an energetic attachment or a cord in some way, shape or form. It can be very distressing. So this is what's happening. Some of these lower-based entities are trying to find a way in order to feed. Also, what you will find is when you have an attachment or there's an energy, a lower-based energy around you, potentially you will have a sense of mistrust within you, and you will feel very anxious. You'll feel very heightened, and you'll also experience a level of paranoia where you're just in a bubble of all of this lower base frequency. I don't like talking about it, to be honest, but it is a very important subject that we do need to discuss. And as I say, this is why we're talking about it today. But yes, so you will be aware of these traits that you will be displaying when you're around dark energy or when you're dabbling in the dark energy. So do watch out for that. Now, obviously, paranoia is not a nice place to be. You assume the worst all the time, don't you? You're on edge. You can't relax. You can't rest. You can't even get your sleep. So it's interfering with your physical, mental, and emotional health, and it's creating this disharmony within you as an individual. In order, as I say, that the aim of that is to lower your vibrations so that these entities can feed from you. So it's not nice at all. But with this, using tools to communicate to spirit or lower-based entities. Now, you would have heard of spirit boards or Ouija boards. Again, it's something I've been aware of, obviously, over the years. I wouldn't recommend using them to anybody, to be honest. Although, like I said earlier, you get instant gratification when you sit, in a circle doing that. However, you are opening untold levels and dimensions into your dimension. You're opening portals which allow some of these lower-based entities and frequencies to come into without you realizing. So what you will notice when you're having this level of communication with these spirits or entities is that they will try and lure you into using it, and you'll be asking questions and they'll be giving you what you want to hear. They'll be telling you that they're somebody else when they're not. They'll be bringing false information of hope that's incorrect in order to lure you in order to make you want to use that device for longer periods of time. And obviously, the longer you use it, the more time that they have in order to bring forward more entities into this dimension through the portal that you have opened, that you have created. And in many aspects of my work, when I've done house cleansing, has been associated with spirit boards or Ouija boards predominantly, because people have that morbid fascination. They're wanting to connect to the other side. They're wanting answers maybe, or help with their life. And so I'm not judging, by the way. This is just a general observation and what I've seen in my experience. And people are wanting that sense of hope. They're wanting answers. And so they've seen it done on TV and on various other media, and they feel like, yeah, let's give that a go. I'm sure we can get some answers, or it'd be a laugh. It'll be great fun. And straight away, a lot of people, what I've observed, will mix their spirits. And what I mean, they'll be communicating with spirit while under the influence of spirit, drinking alcohol, which anybody that recognizes this, that alcohol actually lowers your vibration. And so that makes you more of a sitting target, I would say, for these entities, lower base spirits, to form a bond, an attachment to you without you even realizing. So it's a double no-no from me. I wouldn't recommend it. But as I say, some of these spirits and entities, they will tell you absolutely anything to lure you in, to keep you on that board for longer periods of time. And even they will encourage you to use it on a regular basis, because obviously it's feeding their energy. It's allowing them to come into our dimension, and without you realizing, you're opening a portal. So even though experienced mediums and psychics that do use these tools, I would say even at the experience level, on some level, they still have the potential to be manipulated in some way in order for that portal to be left open. Even when they believe they've closed down the board and they've closed down the session, on some level, in my experience, that board or that area is still open. There's a possibility of this energy still coming in and out of dimensions into this reality. So it's something that I wouldn't promote. I'm talking about it merely to encourage you to have a think before you even consider using anything like this. There are better ways to communicate with spirit, in my experience, than using these devices, because potentially you could be bringing in untold disharmony into not only your life, but the lives of the individuals that are sitting with you using that, and also into that location with the portal being open. But it's, it's a very, if you've ever sat in a session like that, I have in my past, in my youth. Not proud of it, and this is how I've learnt from that experience, and this is why I don't promote it as such, because the temperature changes in the room. Everybody feels a little bit ill, a little bit dizzy. Then there's that level of excitement, enthusiasm, that the information that you're being told as well seems very exciting, very genuine, very authentic. Because these lower bass frequencies will use every trick in the book, as I say, to hold on and latch on. But with saying this, I've also seen and witnessed, as I'm sure many of you have yourselves, what I would describe as clickbait. Now, this is a term that's connected with social media, such as information with magnetic words, or even pictures with striking images, or predominantly what I'm going to talk about is the videos or even live broadcasts. Now, I'm sure we've all seen in block capitals these clickbait magnetic words to draw you into a video. A lot of the videos I'm talking about is videos of a paranormal nature, and you'll see them on various social media platforms, again, in order to pull you in and draw you in. And upon looking at some of the content, you think, oh yeah, okay, give it a go. And you have a look into it, and you see the individuals goading spirit. They're talking out, they're calling out into the ether, into their environment where they're investigating and having a look. And they're using all manner of profanities in order to get a response and a reaction. And there's no respect displayed whatsoever whilst they're doing this. And I understand why they're doing it. As I said earlier, with these with this dark energy, dabbling in with the dark. And in fact, when people are doing that, they are potentially inviting that dark energy in. I understand that it has instant gratification. It does get results. You do see things moving. You do hear the bangs. You do experience people being touched and harmed in some sort of way. I understand that. It looks fantastic. It gets views, doesn't it? I completely understand why it's done. But however, what you'll be doing is you're, as I say, inviting this dark energy to interact with you in order to get a reaction. And a lot of these videos and content, it does get a reaction, so it does what it's set out to do. However, with this being said, what what's happening? They're lowering the vibration of the room, of the individuals in that room. And as I said earlier, there's this potential for this lower based entity or energy to latch on to the individuals that are there. And once they have a foothold in your energetic body, shall we say, they have the potential to manipulate your vibration, your thoughts, your emotions, again, all to lower your vibrations so that they can have a foothold on your energy, because you are now their feeding source. You feed them with these lower bass frequencies. So although it does look cool on camera and everything else like that, I would certainly recommend, I understand why people do it, but you've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to have your protection around you for a start. Also, I would certainly recommend that you go into these places, these buildings, with the utmost of respect as well, and have an intention, set an intention before going on an investigation. So you don't have to go through this drama of winding spirits up, so to speak. 9 times out of 10, they're more than happy to cooperate with you when you show that level of respect. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of the spirits that are there are wanting to share their story with you. And potentially, in my experience, that is simply because if you imagine being stuck in a certain dimension for years and years and years, and you've been racking your brains over your life path, of the things that you've done in your life, you're going through that sense of judgment with what you've done and the people that you've interacted with, or even a situation that played out in that location, you're going over it. In your mind, it's in a loop. These individuals, in my experience in spirit, want to share their story so that they can communicate, they can let some of this anguish, some of this frustration out by doing that. And what I have witnessed is within them doing that, they're actually releasing themselves on an energetic level from that surroundings, from their circumstances, by letting that experience go. It's a form of counseling, in my experience. When you do interact with spirit and you give them that time, you let them speak and tell you what their story is. Giving them that floor space will actually enable them to do some self-healing, like in a counseling session. You know your own answers. It just takes somebody to prompt you to focus in on certain areas. And so this has been my experience. You will get a reaction. You will get a communication when you show that level of respect and you set your intentions before you even go on an investigation. It's a lot more safer than going in there and shouting the odds and swearing and goading and winding these lost souls up. Certainly, you'll notice that you'll come away from that event when you have the purest intentions, when you show that respect, you'll come away from that event feeling energized, feeling in a good space, feeling clear, and just feeling back to normal again. Whereas if you were to goad the spirits, then this is where the potentiality to come back with an attachment of some kind with you. So yeah, I've noticed this trend, and this trend's been happening for many years now, but it's one that I kind of look at and I think, yeah, I understand why you're doing it. I get it, but there's better methods, there's better ways to use in order to communicate with spirit. Let's talk about the manipulation of your mental health and your emotional health. Some of these dark energies, although you may find that you may be using dark arts or whatever you're inspired to use, I wouldn't recommend it because it has repercussions, as I've said earlier. Because this energy will want some sort of payback from you. They will give you what you're asking almost instantaneously and what you're aiming to achieve. They will give you that straight away, but there is small print, so to speak, with these entities, with this lower-based energy that you're not aware of at the time of getting involved with this. And that small print is that they have access to your mental, emotional, and even physical and spiritual body as a result of you dabbling in that vibration there. And they can do all manner of things to instigate disharmony into every aspect of your life, where your life feels as though it's crumbling away, where people aren't recognizing who you are anymore. And you find yourself questioning everything, feeling paranoid, feeling on edge, and just feeling a genuine dis-ease, disharmony within your life. Because a lot of these spirits, as I've said, and entities what they will be doing behind the scenes is creating this level of disharmony and drama in your life. Again, the purpose being is to feed from you, from these lower base frequencies that they're manipulating you to create via your thoughts, via your emotions, so that they can feed from you. It's not nice to see people going through that at all. But however, what I would say is you can get out of it. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of self-discipline, and it's a case of, I would certainly recommend getting a professional in, either an energy healer or a medium or a psychic, somebody of that nature there, to come and help you remove these cords of attachment. And then this is where the inner journey starts with you, where you've got to start looking at things differently. You've got to flip the script. You've got to keep that positive energy flowing. And you will be tempted at times to let that dark energy back in, because you'll start to have dark thoughts and maybe feeling the worst. So it does require a lot of cleansing, a lot of inner work from yourself, where you're letting these old energies go. You're changing the way that you perceive things, so you're looking on a higher vibration in all aspects of your life. You're seeing the good in the situation, and also you're remaining positive. You're looking after your physical, mental, and emotional health there. Maybe you will adopt some sort of training exercise, such as, running or walking or going to the gym, swimming, or even the fact that you're developing meditation in order to connect to your highest self, to keep that higher vibration. You'll also be inspired to set some healthy boundaries around you and with the people that you interact with, and also the beings in spirit that you interact with. You'll set some healthy boundaries there around yourself in order to pick yourself up from these experiences. And it's a lot of hard work, but it will be worth it, because you'll feel back in alignment with your truth. You will also be connecting up to your highest timeline within your life there. And you'll have more vitality and more energy, because these cords of attachment, these entities, these beings have no permission to be there anymore. And so you're then connected up to your truth, your higher self there, which is a beautiful thing indeed. When you're listening to that calling, listening and reacting to your own highest truth there. So watch out for this. It goes deeper than what we're talking about today. And if I was to go deeper and deeper, a lot of you wouldn't believe what is actually potentially possible with dabbling with these energies. It can be years and years and years and years of trauma, not only for you, but potentially for those around you, because these energies will latch onto other people connected to you as well, and they'll do the same. They'll replicate by trying to lower their vibrations. Something I don't like talking about, but it has to be said. And so with me saying this, I would certainly recommend that you operate from a more higher state of love and respect. Set those intentions before going on an investigation. Set those healthy boundaries. I would do a baseline check as well, which is where you observe how you're feeling emotionally, what you're feeling in the physical body, and also what thoughts are playing out in your mind. Again, before going on an investigation. This way you will know that is your authentic self, Okay. And then if you happen to go into a building and you're doing some of these practices that I'm describing to you, which I would not recommend, then I would recommend that you do a baseline check after the event. And you will notice a substantial shift in your vibration if you have been dabbling. It will be very dramatic. So that's a good way of keeping yourself on track, and also your team as well, your colleagues that you're working with. After all, you're all there to work together. And so you should be looking out for one another, each other's back there, and checking if everybody's all right. You're all right. If people go quiet, if people go within themselves, if people are rocking, or maybe their demeanor is changing, maybe they're getting very sharp with their communications, a little bit aggressive with their communications. Look out for these signs, people, when you're going on investigations, because this leads me into talking about possession. And this is where a spirit can potentially latch on and operate through your mental, emotional, and physical body. Almost like a drop-in, I would say, a possession, where they will try and manipulate the way that you're behaving in order to pull that vibration down in that room there, again, so that they can feed, they can have that sustenance. So look after your teammates, please, people. Keep a check on them, because if anybody's been in that position before where they have been possessed or taken over, had a walking from spirit, it can be very physically, mentally, and emotionally draining. And the way I would say also what occurs is you'll feel sick. You may even be physically sick as well. You will have breathing issues, a headache, and you'll just feel very low and very not yourself at all. So I would recommend that as a team, if this does happen on your investigation, that you take that colleague outside, out of that area. They will start to come back to the self. Give them plenty of water, encourage them to breathe, get them sat down, keep them warm. Ideally, give them something to eat, a snack or something. The energy of that will ground them, will bring them back into their now moment consciousness as well. Also, as a collective, you can stand in a circle around them and just project high vibrational love and light and peace, truth and harmony, and just hold those words, or even chant them out loud as a team there around that individual, and you'll notice that they will start to come back round to themselves. They'll feel really exhausted, so they will need that sustenance, plenty of water, so have that at hand and just give them that time. And I would recommend that that individual then sits out and doesn't go back into that room or that location, because the potentiality for this to be happening again is very high. So do look after yourselves when you're doing this type of work. And finally, I'd like to just say to you all that although, as I've mentioned, you do get the instant gratification with this type of work, this energy, the lower energy that I'm describing, don't be tempted. Do not be tempted just because it looks cool, just because it gets reactions, just because, you get the likes, you get the ticks, you get the views and all of that. Bear in mind, as I say, the unmentioned small print when you're dabbling in this energy that's not mentioned, that's not spoke about. And this is, like I say, where that energy can literally have an impact on every single area of your life and can cause untold misery for all, not only you, but those around you. And it can take potentially quite a long time to get out of that vibration. You have to really dig deep to get out of it. And ideally, I would recommend that you do get some professional help as well, such as an energy healer, a medium, a psychic, or something like that. Somebody that is authentic, is a genuine one that can help you raise your vibrations and remove these cords of attachment. Once they've done that work, instantly you'll feel that change, that difference in your energy. You'll have more vitality. You won't have that brain fog anymore. You will be able to make conscious choices and decisions that do serve your highest good. Also, you'll notice you'll be more empathic. Your emotions will come back into alignment, and your interactions with people will be more of a loving variety, of a loving kind of interaction there, as your heart opens up and expands and gets you connected to your true authenticity there. So it's a long journey to get out of it. But so to summarize, I would say, don't even think about going into dabbling with the dark. You will save yourself a lot of emotional, mental, physical trauma by doing that. If you're wanting to connect with spirit, do it with love, do it with respect, and set your intentions prior to going on these investigations. And I assure you, you will get some beautiful evidence from spirit. You'll get some wonderful interactions. You've just got to be paying attention, sitting in silence if you can in periods, and just observing, having that patience. You will get interactions from spirit, definitely. So I hope you can take something from this conversation today, and I hope it makes you have a question, makes you have a second thought in going down this pathway, and just consider, all of the repercussions that have the potentiality to affect you as an individual. Well, now we're going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their wisdom and communications through.
Today, we'd like to talk about the developing mind and what your perception is of the mind. First of all, let's break it down by saying to you that we've said it many times before, that you are a transmitter and receiver of information. With this being said, your thoughts are continually broadcasting your thoughts and your understandings of this universe out into the universe. Can we also make a point of by saying that not all of your encounters, your experiences, are stored in your physical mind? Many of you may perceive that this is the case. However, it's not. What we do suggest to you is that all of your collective thoughts, all of your senses, all of your emotions and experiences are stored in what we would describe as the collective consciousness. To relate that to your understanding in today's society, we would liken this to the technology of cloud technology. This is where information is no longer stored on the device. Instead, it is backed up in this cloud system. And we say to you that this is a very similar process in what happens with your thoughts and with your emotions and your experiences. They're all saved and backed up in the universal cloud, so to speak. Most of all, this is why we're bringing this to your attention today, is that most of you will be experiencing periods of unforgetfulness, and even though you've had those experiences relatively close to when you're trying to recount them, for the love of you, you can't seem to find them in your memory bank, in your mind. And we say this is because that they have been removed and taken and absorbed into the universal cloud, so to speak. That information isn't lost, it's simply changed its location. So when you go through these stages, first of all, let's scroll back and start by saying the reason for this happening now is the fact that more love, more light, more expansion energy is flowing through the majority of you as a collective. And you want to ask, well, why is that a case? Why is that occurring? And we say to you, it is very much needed in order to ascend the earth and the collective on the earth, not only you as a species, a human species, but also the animal kingdom, and also the frequencies in which you are aligned to. We say that the reason for this is to prepare you and to prepare everything and everyone and all of creation in your dimension in order for it to move into a higher state of consciousness and awareness, where no longer will you be carrying burdens and all of these lower-based energies that are keeping you stuck and out of alignment to your higher calling. This is why it is occurring. We say to you that in order, if you want to obtain the information of your life's experiences, in order to convey to others and to share your wisdom and knowledge, even your learned knowledge from your dimension, we say that this information, as we've said, is stored in the universal cloud. And the way that you can access that is simply by relaxing in to your present moment consciousness and with intention asking for information that you have already, unknowing to you, have stored in the universal cloud. So basically, it's almost like getting into a state of meditation, but with intention, the intention of bringing forward that information so you can observe it and recount it and relay it and bring it back into form, into your present moment consciousness, in order to help not only you, but society as a whole. So you simply ask, align, and then observe to go through those processes that you have previously gone through in your timeline. Having said this, it is a rather peculiar experience, and we don't want to mince our words when we're saying this, to the point where a lot of you will be in conversation and the content, the information, the details of what you're relaying to whoever will escape you. You will not be able to find it in the mind. And we say that that information is still accessible. However, you will have to go in a different tangent. As we've said, you'll have to connect to the universal mind. You can do this with practice when you're having that conversation by internalizing and saying with intention that you would like this specific memory or piece of information to come forward. And we would liken this to today's technology. With practice, it will be almost like a form of streaming that information in and then delivering it, but not actually vibrationally in your dimension, owning it and having that vibration weigh you down or hold you back. If you understand, it's a lot to get your mind around, but we are told by our higher influences in the world of spirit that this is the case, and it is occurring to a lot of you. And a lot of you will have rather peculiar looks in your direction, particularly when you're finding that when you get to the punchline or the point of your story or information or even joke for that matter, that key part of the information will be gone. And we say that this is where you go within and ask with intention for that information to come in. Relax. Stop putting yourself under stress and duress in order to get the information. The more you relax, the more information that will blend and stream through you. I suppose in a way there's a connection to channeling, I suppose, because like what the sitter is doing now as you're listening to him, is he's simply relaxing, allowing himself to be a vessel for our communication to come through him. He has no concept of these pieces of information that we're sharing with you, not to this magnitude anyway. So the information is being streamed through him, and it's very much the same is what is going to be happening with a lot of you that are listening, eventually all of you. But, it all starts small and then it expands, and when that vibration of the collective expands, then more people will be comfortable and in fact find this a very natural process in order to bring forward information. And we say that not only will you be streaming the information from your own collective, your own, shall we say, individual experiences, but we will take the opportunity to come forward and bring you information of our highest order, similar, like we've said before, to channeling. Information will come through you. This information is to serve you as a whole collective, not to be abused or exploited, but will be used in accordance to help humanity and your planet. Now, this information will come through you, and upon speaking this information, you as a vessel, as a person, as an individual, will find this most peculiar, because you will know that you have not even been thinking those thoughts about that information. You have no knowledge or wisdom based upon the things that you are communicating, and yet this information will be flowing through you, through your voice. So that's an experience for you all to experience. We would say towards September of this year of 2024, those that have been elected leaders, and we say that with utmost respect, elected leaders to bring in these new codes and frequencies of light and information, will start experiencing this in your day-to-day connections with people. So just relax into it. There's nothing to worry about at all. Trust the process, and you will be surprised that all of you that are listening to this have wisdom beyond your dimension, beyond your years, beyond your own knowledge base, and you will see it in your own timelines, it filtering through you. What we wish to say relating to a lot of this information is that it's here to serve you, to create your own communities, to start and stand proud, to start and take your own responsibility and your power back, and also gravitate towards people that you're magnetically drawn to on a vibrational level, and this in itself will form communities. The most easiest form that this will start to manifest is, as you're all familiar with your internet, it will start by having some online groups and conversations and chat rooms and things of that nature. That's how the ball will start rolling, and then eventually this will move into real-time, person-to-person connection, face-to-face connection, and there'll just be this beautiful alignment of people and their vibrations and their understandings. And we can hear your minds all ticking away, thinking, well, that's all fine and well, but what about the rules and regulations of the land that those that are in so-called elected leadership roles will dictate upon you all? And we say that those communities that are made and formed will be that intelligent with the information that they bring forward, that they will be able to operate within the boundaries of the rules and regulations, but also create their own. And so they will be doing no harm or distress to anyone, anything. Instead, they will be very collectively self-sufficient within their communities. In other words, going back to the old ways, where there were villages, and these villages, they had grown their own produce and food, they have sustainable water, or the individuals within that community would have certain skill sets. As you know, back in time, there were blacksmiths, there were farmers, there were people that made clothing and things of this nature, and together they formed a kinship, a bond within that community where bartering became, I would say, a very naturalistic way of life. In other words, they would exchange their services and goods for things that they required, and there will be a lot of that occurring in these communities. And we say that those that are in continual power, that supposedly have been elected to do and fulfill that role, will be scratching their heads because they're wanting a direct connection to those, shall we say, terms of sales in order for taxation purposes and extracting wealth from those individuals in the communities. And we say to you that no transactions will take place. It will be agreements as such, an exchange of services. And so it will cause a lot of confusion for those in power. However, those in the communities will find this way of living more in alignment with their truth. And no one is greater or lesser than the next individual. All will play a role within these society, these communities, in order to sustain that harmony and sustain the viability of that community. It's going to be absolutely wonderful, even though a lot of you are thinking, well, yes, that sounds all very beautifully put, but what about the goods and the services that we cannot have in our community? And we say to you, you will get exactly what you need, and you will find and create your own ideal part of heaven on earth by doing so. There's going to be a big shift in the way that you think in connection to materialistic items, and you will experience life on more of an energetic level, where you'll connect, as we've already said, with those of a likened mind and a likened soul. And it's going to be an amazing feat. It won't all start at once, you understand, but from acorns, mighty oaks will grow, and so word will spread about these communities. There will be a lot of interest. We hear you say, but what about the homes, the land, and the place? We say, well, this is all to be elected. This is all to be decided. And this is what's happening in the great ether and great scheme of things. There is a big, what we would say, a big turnaround in terms of financial situation, not just locally, but we say globally, to the point there's going to be a big shake-up within this. A lot of items are going to be losing their value, and a lot of you will be, shall we say, starting from scratch. And we do not wish to sound negative or depressing by saying that, but what we're saying is you'll actually find that this is where your power is. You'll find that this is where the community spirit is, and this is where you will connect with nobody is greater or lesser than anybody else. Everybody benefits, and that's going to be a beautiful thing, that harmonious way of life, especially for you to experience, but we're so pleased and proud to witness it also. So we hope this has been an insightful piece of information for you to align with and maybe churn over those thoughts in your mind and visualize these things that we speak of. We send you our love and our healing and our utmost, highest vibrations, and to let you know that you're never alone, and we stand by your side steadfast, inspiring you and encouraging you to thrive in your timeline within your present moment consciousness. We send you our love. Goodbye for now.
Again, a fantastic communication there from the world of spirit. Well, now we're going to move into the next segment of the show, which is this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 16th of September 2024. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot card. So I'm just about to shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out for this week's forecast reading. So this is your card for this week's reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration of that. Straight away, I'm being told that this week offers some very important decisions to be made and also changes. And I feel as though the decisions that you have to make this week are in terms of Are you willing to receive? Are you willing to accept the abundance, the opportunities that are coming your way this week? Now, the old version of you would push them aside and say, I'm okay, thank you very much, that's very kind, thank you very much. But I feel that this week you're more inclined and inspired to say yes and see where these opportunities lead. Also, this week we'll see you having a change of opinion. What you used to hold very dearly to your heart, an old belief system, I feel that this week will see you actually contradicting yourself. And this is because you have grown. You have expanded with your knowledge, with your vibration, with your wisdom, to the point where you're, shall we say, adult enough to put your hands up and say, no, I don't believe that anymore. I believe this instead. So watch out for people pointing the finger at you and holding you accountable, quite rightly so, for your old belief systems. And just to let you know that this is a brilliant example of how much you've grown, how much you've changed and evolved. So don't take these things personally, just simply go with the truth of who you are. This week will also see you being around gossip, being around drama, not necessarily about you, for you, but I feel as though people around you will not be able to help themselves to express drama. Have you heard this? Have you heard that? What's your opinion on that? And the reason why my guides are bringing this forward is to remind you that you have the option at any one given moment whether to give that your power and attention, your energy, or to simply say, no, that's fine. No, I don't follow gossip or words to that effect. You have that choice. But bear in mind, whatever your choice is, it will have energetic repercussions. So maybe have a think about it before you engage in any activity of drama or gossip this week. This week will also see you in terms of your, it sounds a little bit gross, but in terms of your bodily fluids, I feel as though you're going to be releasing a lot of fluid, a lot of water in some respect this week. Whether this is tears, whether this is the toilet area there, or whether this is in terms of sweat. Either way, there's going to be a release of these old energies, these old, I would say, emotional energies. And this is a way that it's going to find its way out of you this week. So if you do find yourself popping to the smallest room in the house more regular than not, I feel that this week it is you having some form of releasement with your emotions this week. I'm also being told you will be inspired to get out and about more this week in terms of walking, in terms of seeing different sights, just refreshing your vibration to make you have a clearer perspective so you feel more refreshed in embracing these opportunities that are finding their way to you this week. So when you feel overwhelmed mentally and emotionally, what you will feel is the need to get out and about a little bit more. Rather than suppressing that, you're being advised to follow and trust your instincts, and you'll be so pleased that you did by doing that. So let's turn over the card and see what the card has to say for you. At the top of the card, it says 2 of Michael. So I'd like you to research the angel number 2, as I feel that that will give you additional content and information. Also, the number 2, I feel as though this is talking about your natural counterpart. So maybe this is somebody that you're energetically aligned to, a soulmate maybe, or a partner, or a very close friend, somebody that you're very close with. This bond is going to be cemented more so this week. And actually, I'm being told that you're going to trust the wisdom and the feelings of your heart as this connection expands into something beautiful. Now, Michael, Archangel Michael for that matter, represents cord cutting. So the letting go of old things that no longer serve you. I'm talking about old belief systems, like we said earlier. Maybe this is old patterns of behavior that you once followed. But I do feel as though the Archangel Michael will be there to support you, to help you move into this new version of yourself, where you feel more free, more open, to be more compassionate and expressive with all of your emotions and feelings there. So let's read the inscription at the bottom, and it reads, "It will be better if you just make a decision. Overanalyzing a problem. Find a compromise." What I feel that this is talking about, again, it's letting go of the older versions of yourself and just making a decision, trusting your instincts, going for it. You're going to be all right. You're going to be supported. So don't fear the worst. Instead, envision the beautiful opportunities that are opening up for you. Looking into the artwork of the card, we have blue, as you can see, around the edging of the card. To me, this indicates this week, as we previously said, this is talking about emotions. There's going to be a lot of emotions and releasement of emotions this week. And it could be like we were saying earlier, with an abundance of fluids from the physical body. This is a form of releasement there. So do watch out for that. Also, it's talking about communications as well. You opening up a little bit more. Maybe you've been reserved in the past about how you feel emotionally, and who you let into your heart and who you let into the vulnerable side of you. This week is certainly telling you this: it's safe to be you, it's safe to be open, it's safe to be vulnerable. Allow yourself to express those feelings, because it is going to lead on to better things. It's going to help you move into a new vibrational timeline within your life where you can flow more freely and more openly. Taking a look also into the artwork, we have, as you can see, 2 unicorns there. So let's look at that. We've already given you some insight with the angel number of number 2, but the unicorn represents oneness. Maybe 2 people, 2 minds, 2 hearts coming together as one, unified as one. It's talking about collaboration. It's also talking about singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. And also uni, I believe that is short for university as well. So lots of learning with this connection, learning of self, learning of others. Again, this is tying in with you, allowing yourself to be more open, more vulnerable with your emotions. Also, what I feel that the actual horn within the unicorn is actually placed, as you can see, where the third eye would be located. This is telling you that you're going to be receiving more insights, inspiration and wisdom this week, and you're not to push that wisdom down and ignore it. Instead, you're to give it a chance, give it an opportunity to unfold. And with you doing that, with you trusting this inspiration and guidance coming in from the world of spirit, your life's going to flow more easier, and you're going to recognize the synchronicities, the blueprint, if you like, for your life unfolding right before your eyes. And it's going to feel very natural. There's going to be a natural flow state there as well. So also with this, both of these unicorns, they have like a blue sash on their back there. That would also indicate that both parties, yourself and I would say either a soulmate or a close friendship, will be carrying emotions connected with their past. And between the two of you opening up, sharing, there's going to be an immense feeling of healing, of clarity, of inspiration, and you'll feel like you're on the same page with doing this. There's a supportive role with both of you during the course of this week, so do watch out for that. There's a sunset in the background there, so that indicates positive changes coming in for the better, and a vast landscape. So that's telling you the world is your oyster. You have very important decisions and choices to make this week, so choose wisely. Trust your heart and trust the decisions that you're making. So that's what I picked up for this week's energy forecast reading. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting and sharing. If you've enjoyed this reading and you would like to help and support the work that I do, I have got a buy me a coffee link either above or below this video. And this is a virtual tip jar, so all of your generous donations will be gratefully received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do to help people raise their vibration on their pathway. Also, if you'd like to book in with me with any of my services, you can go over to my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can book in with me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, on my Facebook page. Join me every Monday with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal and self-help on www.pulsetalkradio.com at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Have a fabulous week, everybody. Bye for now.
Well, that sounds like a fascinating week for us all this week, and it sounds like we have to be open to receiving that beautiful bounty that the universe is trying to deliver to us there. So I hope you've enjoyed the content and the information in this week's show that has been provided to from Spirit or channeled through from Spirit in some way, shape or form. If you do have any questions for the show, contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com or glennboddice@live.co.uk. Have a fantastic week, everybody. See you all next week. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products,
services Glenn provides, go to glennboddice spiritualmedium.com.